Okay, here's a real quick response to one of the wonderful comments I received on a recent video where I was basically talking about the timing of your medications and answering some questions concerning adjusting that timing in order to improve our sleep habits. Okay, it was a good video, I thought. Great question then. But J Empowers 83 said this. He said, I take mine at 9 and 9 too. They wanted me to take them at 7 and 7, but I said that was too early. I would agree with you. I'm a 9 and 9 guy, but 7 and 7 is too early. Even though I get up every morning in my life at 6, I don't want to be taking my medications by 7 because I don't want to have to get up at 6 and do that every day. But he asked a few questions in behind that statement. He said, is it true that you have to take them the same way every day? Like, for instance, if you take them with food once, you always have to take them with food. And do you have to take them in the same order every day? Well, to answer your question, it is true that you need to be very, very consistent with your medication, and that even can go as far as to being consistent in how you take them associated with food. I've had entire videos in the past about whether or not there are benefits to taking it with food versus without food, and I'll tell you, many of us do better one way or the other, and what I've discovered in the comments before, basically we're totally divided on that. We just are kind of 50-50 in that area. However, consistency does matter in this case, and that comes up for a few reasons, mainly being the majority of us who take our medications with food generally find that we have a little bit lesser likelihood of being nauseated from those medications. Many of the medications we take, like Prograf, aka tacrolimus, for example, prednisone can do the same. Back early on, I was on Valsite. That was an antiviral medication. It made me nauseated. My Fortic oftentimes upset my stomach. Generally speaking, for me personally, and again, everybody's kind of divided on this, but for me personally, if I took my medications with a little bit of food, particularly in the morning, that would help to lower the instance of that nausea. And that's kind of one of the reasons they suggest many times taking them with food versus without. However, if you'll pull out all your medications one day, just do this, just check me on this, and you'll read the bottle specifically. You're going to have some of your medications that say take with food, some that say take on an empty stomach, vice versa. Some might say take an hour after eating, whatever. So you kind of have to come to the conclusion, yeah, I've just got to do what feels right, because I can't necessarily follow the directions of all of these, or else I'd be taking medications and eating all day long to try to accomplish that. So you kind of got to adapt and adjust to that. However, the main reason they may tell you to decide whether you're going to do it or not is because a lot of your medications, it does affect the absorption of those medications in your system based on whether or not you have an empty, or in that case, a full stomach. Okay, so you kind of got to check with that, and that's why consistency matters, because if you're like I am, typically speaking, I actually don't eat breakfast most days, and so being that I almost never eat breakfast, that in instance means I almost never take my medications on a full stomach. It's always empty, and so that has allowed me over time and through the years to allow my levels to become very, very stable because of that. And if I were to change that up and say go on a binge for a week and want to eat a huge breakfast every day, take my medications, there's at least a slight possibility that does change the absorption of those medications. Therefore, it might show some of my levels to be off. If that happened to be a clinic week for me or whatever, where they're drawing blood work and checking things like Prograf and other levels, it would probably kick that off. So to answer your question in general, you have to decide what really feels good and what really affects you in the best way, whether it be with or without. But once you decide that, try to stay very consistent with that. And you may eat breakfast here one day and maybe not the next. That won't matter. But if you're going to change your habit and sway it majorly from one side to the other, you're probably going to want to have some blood checks done within that time frame. Or if not, at least when it is time to go in the clinic, maybe you could mention that. Say, look, when you look at my blood work today, keep in mind I've been eating at Cracker Barrel every day for the past 2 weeks, or I've decided I just don't enjoy waking up for breakfast and my stomach's empty. Just let them know that so that they can monitor those medications accordingly, and perhaps they can view it with a little bit different eyes as they look to that. So to answer that question, yes, you need to be consistent. That's very important. The latter part of the question he asked again, do you have to take them in the same order every day? I'm not exactly sure how you're dividing your medications up as far as what you're talking about order. I tend to leave mine again pretty stable. For example, when I was on prednisone, I think I was taking 2 milligrams in the morning and maybe 2 at night. And then at one point I got moved from 2 to 1, that sort of thing. I didn't flip-flop those at all. I didn't make any adjustments really like that. So I would probably say, once again, consistency is going to be the key in that. And I would just take them, just in that way. Now, as far as order, again, I'm down to only taking them twice a day. I can take and swallow, at least I have, swallowed as many as 26 pills at one time. Probably do more, but 26 pills at one time. And so for me, that's just a handful and go. I don't take them incrementally, anything like that. So not exactly sure exactly what you mean on that, if you want to add some comment to that, but in general, consistency. So that's where I always come down to my conclusions about medications, is always that you need to take them on time, every time, and in the right way. Okay, so follow those directions of your doctors and of your pharmacies, but in the end of the day, do what works for you, do what keeps you healthy and strong and gives you the best opportunity at life. So JM Powers 83, thank you so much for that comment, for those questions. Others of you, if you got any further comment or questions, the description below is perfect. You can go ahead and do that. Ask them there. Not description. The comment section below is perfect. Or I'll put my text number on the screen right now, and you can go ahead and send me over text. I'll be happy to talk with you at any point, any way that I can help. Thanks so much for joining me again today. And until the next time, stay stronger, friends.